Hey friends, it's Amy. Today I want to talk about something that's really close to my heart, and I actually talked about this a few days back. I mentioned it. The gifts that God puts inside us. You know, the ones that we just sometimes lay down for years, and the surprising way that He brings them back at exactly the right time. If you're like me and you're a homeschool mom with a really full life, I know what it feels like to put yourself on the back burner. I'm not complaining. It's just kind of the way it is, right? But the gifts that God gives you, they're not accidents, and they don't disappear. Ever since I was a kid, I have loved stories. I started reading really young, and I was the kid who would read when I was supposed to be doing something else, or I would have a book in my bed when I was supposed to be sleeping, and if my mom really wanted to make something hit home, she'd ground me from reading, right? Stories. I loved stories. I loved reading. And I filled notebooks with poems and short stories, like handwritten, okay, full of imagination that I didn't even realize was a gift at that time. Now, somewhere along the way, my life got busier. What a shock, right? And I became an editor, an encourager, kind of a behind the scenes helper. And I loved it, and I do love editing. I love grammar. I am a really encouraging person overall, and I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But I convinced myself that I just was not the idea person. Now, when my husband started writing during his breaks at work, he was writing on his phone, and he'd email me his chapters, and I became his editor, the person he bounced ideas off of. I helped him organize story structure, and he's really good at it, okay? But I told myself, okay, this is my lane. He's the creative one. I help. But then an idea kind of stuck to me and not to him, and something woke up. I started writing again on my phone, nursing a baby. Ideas just kind of poured out, and stories formed, and creativity that I thought was long gone was suddenly alive. For several years, I wrote consistently until I didn't. My life shifted. I had some health challenges. My kids needed me in various ways. My homeschooling expanded, and I kind of hit the pause button. And earlier this year, God kind of nudged me. Okay, honestly. He kind of elbow jabbed me. And he dropped a story idea in my heart so strongly that it stopped me in my tracks. I remember what I was doing. I was doing dishes and listening to somebody in a workshop or something. And this just downloaded into my brain, and I'm like, whoa. But I argued with God, and I was like, yeah, when? When am I supposed to write? And the story idea itself, well, first of all, it was a genre I'd never dipped a toe in, and the story itself, not something I felt qualified to write. And I was like, Lord, when am I going to do this? Why me, this story? And who am I to write this? And he bounced right back with this question of who are you not to? When God gives you a gift, He expects you to steward it, even if it feels inconvenient. This did. Intimidating. This really did. Or too big. The more that I followed that nudge, the more that He poured out. More story pieces, more ideas, more purpose. And I realized something that it might resonate with you too. Sometimes the gifts that we think are small or even unnecessary are actually the very things He wants to use for His kingdom. Maybe you've got something like that. It's like a gift you've ignored, or a passion you set aside. Maybe you have a dream. It's kind of packed away because your life got busy. I get that. And maybe, just maybe, He hasn't let it go because he plans to use it. And if one of those nudges is the desire that, to create something meaningful from home, to maybe help support your family, to stop feeling stretched thin financially, to live more fully in the gifts that he gave you, guess what? I get it. That's exactly where I've been. I have a friend right now online who, I don't know the circumstances, but her husband recently lost his job, and she's baking bread and selling it from home. She's a homeschool mom, and my heart is kind of really breaking for her, because I'm like, that she's doing everything she can. Now, she has not reached out to me about what I'm doing, and I'm not in the business of poking people and going, you should look at what I have. Okay, so right now God has not led me to do that, but I'm saying I could easily be in her shoes. Okay? Maybe you could too. And if you want to see the simple step-by-step blueprint that I'm using to just build income in the margins, not by sacrificing my calling as a mom or as a homeschooling mom, but by stewarding what he's given me, I would love to share it with you. You just comment blueprint and I will send it your way, because I want you to know something. Your gifts matter. Your obedience matters. And the world and God's kingdom is richer when you actually use them. Thank you for being here, friend.